Bole Baba Ki Jai, Jai Mahamaya Ki Jai. In our last discourse, we heard about the birth of Sukha Deva by Veda Vyasa rubbing sticks together. And he grew quite quickly into a very beautiful, resplendent young man who learned all the Vedas and the Shastras from his guru. And then he came back to his father's home, and his father wanted him to get married. And Veda Vyasa was not very pleased with this. He felt that this would be quite a level of bondage that he did not want to embark upon. So here we are at chapter 15. Hearing these words of Veda Vyasa, Sukha Deva said, "O father, I do not like at all to take to a householder's life, as I see clearly that it fastens men as a cord fastens animals, and is a source of incessant pain. O father, where can you expect happiness from a householder who is always loaded with anxiety how and when to get wealth? Those who have greed for wealth oppress their poor relatives even and extort money. Even one who is the Lord of the three worlds, who is their Indra, he also is not happy as a beggar that has no desires. See then, who else can be happy in this world? Whenever an ascetic is seen to practice severe asceticism, Indra, the Lord of the Devas, becomes anxious and sorry and raises various obstacles in his way. See also that Brahma is not happy with his big samsara, his creation, which is his house. Bhagwan Vishnu, though he has got himself a beautiful Lakshmi, the presiding deity of all wealth, is always suffering, since he is incessantly engaged in fighting with the Asuras, and though he is the household of Lakshmi and full prosperity, he practices almost every now and then terrible asceticisms with great care and earnestness. So who else is there who is possessed of constant happiness? I know also Bhagwan Shiva, too, suffers incessantly, troubles and has to fight against the demons. So then, O Father, how can a poor householder be happy when the rich householder cannot sleep happily with his constant care for wealth? O highly fortunate one, knowing full well this truth of the world, why are you plunging me, your son, into this terrible samsara full of pains and agonies? O Father, what shall I say to you about the miseries of the world? There is pain in birth, pain in old age, pain in death, and pain in the life in the womb. But the pain arising from desires and greed is more terrible than all the pains mentioned above, and then the pains experienced while asking for them are greater than the pangs of death. Alas, there is no other way for the Brahmins to earn their livelihood than to accept gifts from others. Therefore, the Brahmanas have to suffer daily death-like pains and having to wait in expectation from others. Can there be anything more regrettable than this? The Brahmins, studying all the Vedas and the Dharmasastras and acquiring wisdom, have got at last to go to the rich and praise them in expectation of some money carefully. O Father, if one does not become a householder, then what care is there to feed one's own belly? If there be contentment in the mind, anyhow, the belly can be filled with leaves, roots, and fruits. But if there be a wife and sons and grandsons and many dependent relatives, then to feed them all, much trouble and anxiety are experienced. So how can you expect, O Father, perfect happiness in this world? So teach me, O Father, the Shastras on yoga and eternal truth that will give perfect happiness. No advice in karma kanda, the series of actions, will bring me pleasures. Now advise me how the karmas can be exhausted, how the root of the three sorts of karmas can, giving torments of birth, death, and etc., the great ignorance can be destroyed. The lady of the house, whom the people call Kanta, the beautiful one, steal away the semen virile, the strength and energy in the way of giving them happiness and sexual intercourse. In my opinion, those that are ignorant are certainly deluded by the Creator. They accept wife to destroy their own pleasures of happiness. They can never understand that the woman can never be the source of pleasure. They are the source of miseries. Hearing these words of Sukha Deva, Veda Vyasa became merged in the deep sea of cares and anxieties, thinking what to do then. The incessant tears of pain flowed from his eyes. His whole body began to shiver, and his mind became too much worried. Seeing this distressed and sorrowful state of his father, Sukha Deva, with eyes full of wonder, said, "Oh, what a power has Maya got! Oh, he whose words are accepted by all with great love and care is equivalent to the Vedas, who is the author of the Vedanta Darsana, and before whom nothing is veiled in ignorance. How that greatest pundit, the knower of all the tattvas, is now deluded by Mahamaya. Oh, what is that Maya who has been able to delude Veda Vyasa, the son of Satyavata, so skilled in the knowledge of Brahma Vidya? I also do not know how, with what great care, one is to practice sadhana towards Mahamaya. Alas, he who has composed 18 Mahapuranas and the great Mahabharata, who had divided the Vedas in 4 parts, the same Veda Vyasa has today been deluded by the power of Mahamaya. What to speak of other persons? Oh, Mahamaya has deluded Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshvara, and others in the whole universe. Then who is there in this 3 worlds that is not fascinated by her influence? I therefore take refuge unto the eternal governess, the Devi Mahamaya. Oh, what wonderful power she wields. By her own Mayic power she has kept God even under her control, who is omniscient and the controller of all. The Pandits who know the Puranas say that Veda Vyasa is born a part of Vishnu, but see the wonder that he is today plunged in the sea of delusion like a merchant whose ship has been wrecked. Alas, how great is the wonderful power of Mahamaya. The all-knowing Veda Vyasa is today under her control and is weeping like an ordinary man. So I have come to the firm conclusion that the wise Pandits are incapable to surpass the strength of Mahamaya. What a great error arises through the power of Mahamaya. See indeed, who is he and who am I? What for have we come here? There is no certainty, nothing whatsoever about that. And see also how he has got the nice idea of father on his body and the idea of his son in my body that are composed of 5 elements. This is now quite evident to me when the Brahma, Vishnu, and Veda Vyasa is weeping under the influence of Mahamaya. She is the strongest of all. Even those who are skilled in the great Maya fall under her prey. Sutta said, the Sukha Deva bowed down mentally to the Devi Mahamaya, who is the creatrix of Brahma and the other Devas, and who is the controller of them all, and then began to speak the following auspicious words, pregnant with reason, to his father Veda Vyasa, greatly distressed and plunged in the sea of sorrows. O Father, you are exceedingly fortunate, for you are the son of the high-souled Parasara, and you yourself are the instructor of the real truth, the Tattva Jnana, to all persons. So, O Lord, why are you giving vent to sorrows like an ordinary bewildered man? Why are you plunging yourself in this great error, though you are a high-souled personage? See, it is quite true that now I am born as your son, but this I don't know what relation existed between you and me in my previous birth. So a highly intelligent one, open your eyes of wisdom and be patient. Do not throw yourself in vain in the sea of sorrows. All this universe is like a net of delusion. Knowing this, abandon all your grief. Why are you feeling yourself so much weak and distressed for your attachments toward your son? Hunger is satisfied by eating something, and thirst is satisfied by drinking of water. Hunger is not satisfied by seeing the sun. So the organ of scent is satisfied by smelling sweet scents, and the organ of hearing is satisfied by hearing sweet music. So what shall I do to you by remaining as your son? What satisfaction can a son give? The son, in fact, is not the cause of any satisfaction to oneself. For this reason, in ancient days, the poor Brahmin Ligarta gave his son to the king Harishchandra for necessary equivalent price in money. In fact, those things that are urgently required as necessities give happiness, and all these articles can be obtained by wealth. So if you want to enjoy happiness, then earn money. Of what use shall I be to you as your son? O money, you can see subtle things, and you are greatly intelligent. So I pray to you to look upon me as your son and open my eyes of wisdom, that I can be free forever from this womb of birth. O sinless one, to get a human birth in this land of Kama in India is very difficult. Again, to get a Brahmin birth is extremely rare. So when I have got this so very rare birth, why shall I spend my time in vain, O Father? Though I have served many spiritual teachers fraught with wisdom for many years, yet the firm idea I am, as it were, bound up in the net of samsara, the notion covered with darkness of ignorance caused by desires. That net does not lead me. When the son Sukha Deva of extraordinary power and intelligence spoke thus, Veda Vyasa saw that his son was strongly inclined to take to the fourth ashram, that of sannyasin, and spoke thus: O son, if your mind has become so, then read Bhagavati Purana, composed by me, highly auspicious voluminous, and the second Vedas. In this you have the chapter of creation and secondary creation. The 5 characteristics are in other Puranas, and it is subdivided into 12 skandhas. Hearing of this, Srimad Devi Bhagavata brings up to the mind that the mother alone is real and all the universe is unreal, and knowledge both intuitive and indirect springs up. For this very reason, the Srimad Bhagavati Devi Treatise is considered as the ornament of the Puranas. Therefore, O highly intelligent one, you better read this Purana, O child. In days of yore, at the end of Kappa, Bhagavan Vishnu was lying as a small child on a floating leaf of a banyan tree and was thinking thus: who is the intelligent one that has created me, a small child? What is his or her object, and what stuff am I made of, and how can I create? Whence can I know all of this? At that moment, the Devi Bhagavati, who is all Chaitanya, seeing the high-souled Bhagavan Vishnu musing thus, spoke out of the form of a celestial voice in the following half stanza: all this that is seen is I, myself. There is existent nothing other that is eternal. Bhagavan Vishnu then began to think deeply the above celestial voice. Who has uttered these words, pregnant of truth, to me? How shall I come to know the speaker, whether that is female or male or hermaphrodite? Pondering over this for a long time, when he could not come to a definite conclusion, he began to repeat, make japam frequently, that the words that he had heard from Bhagavati with a whole heart. When Vishnu, lying on a banyan tree leaf, became very anxious to know what the above words implied, then the all-auspicious Devi, Bhagavati, with a beautiful face, calm and quiet appearance, appeared before Bhagavan Vishnu of unrivaled splendor in the form of Mahalakshmi, who is all of sattva guna, surrounded by her vibhutis, her manifestations of attendance. Her smiling companions of the same age, decked with ornaments and wearing divine clothing, and holding each in their 4 divine hands, conch shell, disc, club, and lotus. The lotus-eyed Vishnu was very much surprised to see this beautiful Devi standing without anything to rest on that water. He saw that on her 4 sides of the Devi were staying Rati, Bhuti, Budi, Mati, Kirti, Smriti, Dirti, Shraddha, Meda, Swara, Swaha, Sudha, Nidra, Daya, Gata, Tusti, Pusti, Sama, Lajita, and other personified forces, each possessing a clear, distinct form and endowed with a clear, distinct feeling. In the hands of them all were divine weapons, on their necks, necklaces and garlands of beautiful flowers, and all the limbs of their bodies were decorated with divine ornaments. Seeing in that one mass of ocean the Devi Lakshmi and her Shaktis, Bhagavan Vishnu, the soul of all, became greatly astonished and thought within himself thus, what is this? Is this Maya that I am witnessing? Whence have appeared these women? And whence have I come here, lying on this banyan leaf? How has the banyan tree come to existence in this one mass of ocean? And who is it that has placed me here in the form of a child? Is this my mother? Or is this some Maya and concrete impossible things? Why has she made herself manifest before me now? Or is there some hidden motive that she has appeared thus? What ought I do now? Or shall I go to some other place? Or shall I continue remaining here in this form of a child, silent and with vigilance? Thus ends the 15th chapter, the first book on the dispassion of Sukha and the instructions of the Bhagavati to Vishnu in the Mahapurana Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. Mahamaya Mata Ki Jai, Hare Kandashvari Mata Ki Jai, Bole Baba Ki Jai.